Hi, I'm Chris Brown with Automotive Fleet, and welcome to the State of the Fleet Industry video series. In this episode, I connect with Neil Cawse, founder and CEO of Geotab, on the occasion of the company's 25th anniversary. Neil gets candid about Geotab's journey from startup challenges to global leadership. He also talks about his succession plan and what the company and Telematics might look like in 25 years.
The Voyager Fleet program offers advanced controls, real-time alerts, and flexible purchase settings that help prevent fraud and employee misuse. Take control of your operations and keep every dollar working for your fleet.
Well, hi Neil, it's great to be with you again, and once again, congratulations on 25 years for Geotab.
I really appreciate that, Chris. It's so good to be with you again, and thanks so much.
Yeah, for sure. Well, okay, let's look back a little bit before we look forward. I'll just jump right into some questions for you. First one, when Geotab was in its infancy, was there this moment that made you realize, like, all right, I've got something here, and I think I've got something that has the potential to reshape an industry? What was it like back then?
You know what it was? Yes, there was that moment, and I think it occurred twice. The first one was one of our biggest customers was Orkin Pest Control, which was really one of our original wins. And when we realized that a big US company would adopt Geotab, and it's suddenly like, hold on, like this could be something really good. And then Colin Sutherland was working on UPS, and he spent a lot of time with that. And then we got into UPS, and the pilots go, and it's go, okay, this is it. And it was nice that it happened early, because you struggle with that if you have a company and you can get there, but that validation really helps you, give you that energy to move forward.
Yeah, for sure. And then here's, companies grow, right? And then they get faced with unexpected challenges. So here's the next one. I mean, did Geotab have kind of like near-death experience in the early years where, I mean, obviously you survived, but how did you manage that?
Yeah. I mean, I'd made a little bit of money in my previous business, and so when I immigrated to Canada, the idea was to set up and go and build the business. And I put in $500,000, and I remember, or maybe $1 million, and we'd gotten to $500,000 where we'd spent it on salaries and growing the business and whatever. And I remember,
wow,
little bit of angst and I called the team together. I was literally, the two brothers and Colin, and I said, guys, I'm a little bit worried here. I don't have infinite resources. We may have to get outside funding. We'll have to do something else. But how are we feeling about where we're at? Like, are we on track here? And that was when, Colin turned around and said, listen, we've got a pilot going with UPS. They're going to be placing some orders. We're feeling really, really good. It's not yet. It's a month or two away, but we're feeling good about things. And really, that was after that, I think we then ended up moving things up. We broke even. And then from then, we were just lucky enough that everything worked out well.
Okay. Yeah, great. Well, all right, let's look a little bit to the now and moving forward. I mean, you've got a global market, right? I mean, it's the world. But where is new growth going to come from? Is it different sectors? Is it different parts of the world? I mean, and frankly, is continual growth necessary?
Those are good questions. Look, I think you can define growth in two ways. You can define growth in finding new customers, but you can also define growth as adding more value to your existing customers. And I think it's going to be a combination of both for sure. I still think that there are a lot of customers out there that do not use telematics today. I know that is, especially in some markets, right? So in Latin America, it's probably the furthest, well, Asia is probably the furthest behind, and then it's Latin America, then it's Europe, and then it's the US is just way ahead. I think there is a lot of consolidation in the telematics space too. There are a lot of people who are going, listen, I need to go with the leading companies, and they're picking, some of the leading providers. And so there is some churn that we're lucky enough to get. But it is that question. I think that the work that we have in front of us to improve the opportunity for our customers and the lives of our customers and the efficiencies of our customers is still so great. They're made perhaps even more by AI, that we still got a lot of job to do here. Like we've got a lot of work to put in here and a lot of great things to do for our customers. And actually that's what keeps me coming into work all the time. It's like we have a job to do still. We've got a lot more lives to save, we've got a lot more efficiencies to get out of the system. That lemon is far from being fully squeezed, and so that's what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. The lemon is far from being squeezed, and it's really interesting when you look back. Can we really get more efficiency? Well, yeah, we can. It's really fascinating. So, Geotab has been a disruptor, right? And today is taking kind of a market leadership position. But what disruptive forces are out there that you're keeping track of that are going to affect your business and maybe even change the business model of telematics itself?
It is something that we think about often, right? In the technology space, it's incredible. You can get incredible growth and you can do great things, but it is highly able to be disrupted. The next technology wave that comes out, and obviously the most important new technology wave is AI related, right? And it's related in a couple of ways. I think it's got a big potential to disrupt SaaS as SaaS is. It's going to democratize this business in the sense that new incumbents can come in very easily. Your ability to develop products now is being accelerated. And then obviously autonomy is changing the game, right? I just was down in California and I went in a Waymo and I've got a Tesla because I follow carefully how that's going. And I'll tell you, it is much closer than we realize. Like the fact that most of the trips now in San Francisco are done with Waymos. Like most of the rideshare trips are now a Waymo vehicle. Blows my mind. And there's 10 new markets that are coming out in the next year. So I don't think this is any more pie in the sky. It's testing now. It's more in early rollout. And so it's coming to all of us. And the question is, what is driver safety when there's no driver? And so we have to really think carefully about these business models and the things where we're investing and what our customers are going to be expecting in the future. Look, maintenance is not going away, routing's not going away, right? Compliance, a bunch of things are not going to go away, but driver safety, there's certain elements that we're going to have to pivot and change and rethink our businesses.
Yeah, really interesting. So sort of a democratization and a quicker to market with SaaS platforms. And so we don't know where this is coming from. I mean, so you guys got to keep your eye on the ball. And certainly autonomy is something we're following, and it's really fascinating. Let's move on to, it's been 25 years, right? What does C-suite succession look like for you? I mean, how do you see your role transitioning specifically? And then how do you see Geotab's role generally? I mean, is it as an IPO in the future? I mean, or a potential merger or sale?
We just had our 25th party and everybody's coming up to me and congratulating us on 25 years. And, in one sense, I'm like, no, go away. It just tells you how old I am. And, that's part of the thing. Look, I think, from a succession point of view, it's very important for the founders to know when is the right time to leave and to get out of the way so that the next generation of folks can come in and can do their thing. And so, I've just got to be, put myself in a position where I'm strong enough to do that and say, listen, it's not my time now. I've had my time. I need to move out the way. And we'll see. Like I've got lots more energy left in me. And when enough people, bite at me and say, okay, Neil, that was a bad decision, or we need to move faster or something, I'll have to get out the way. I think for Geotab's future, we're owned by the people who work in the company. And it's not my company. I'm obviously the steward, but we have to make those decisions about IPO and about where the company goes. For me up to now, this is a fantastic formula. It's been working exceptionally well. We're growing very, very strongly. We're doing great things. And so I don't want to mess with something that's working. And that's always been a little bit of my philosophy. But if things start pivoting and changing a little bit, if we, for example, need a lot of capital to grow, the public markets is a great way to do that. If we need we need to buy a big company and amalgamate, then we can go to the private markets and get lots of capital. So we're trying honestly to keep our options open at this stage and keep our eyes on the road. Like I think, with the markets and, geopolitics and stuff, we don't know what's going to happen. Like there could be some fantastic opportunities, with adversity, sometimes opportunities pop up. And so we're going to keep our eyes open for those opportunities and make sure we can leverage them if they do come up.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, last question. I mean, let's really look into the future. I mean, if we can, right? I mean, 25 years from now, how is Geotab different today? How is telematics different today? I mean, you touched on it with autonomy, right? That just changes the game in ways we can't envision. But 25 years, can you even tell us anything about what it's going to be like then?
Yeah, I think telematics is just going to be radically different. In some way, telematics will not be visible in 25 years, is my opinion. It will be a thing. There will be lots of AI work happening behind the scenes to make sure that we're optimizing routes, that we're making sure we're maintaining our vehicles correctly, we're picking the right vehicles for the right jobs, and we're doing all the work. But there won't be humans needed to go and like, what are you doing? Whatever. Like it'll be a system that goes, that's your optimization system, and it'll be running behind the scenes. So I really think the world, like we can't even imagine even what the user interface is going to look like. I don't think there's going to be people clicking, mouses and, going to menus and looking at maps. I think it's going to be, you sitting in your Gemini AI application, and you'll be talking to it, or you'll be typing in. It'll be, I'll deal with that. Don't worry about it. I got that. Okay, where's Neil? And it'll tell you where Neil is, and go make sure that the maintenance is done on those vehicles. So I think it's very hard for us to imagine what that world looks like. But one thing is for sure, it is highly disruptive, and it's only going to be the best companies in the world, the companies that have the money to invest in R&D, and the companies that are looking at the road and understand what's coming, that are really going to survive. And I'm just trying my best to make sure we keep those wheels on the road, so that we are one of those people who are going to be there in the next 25 years.
Well, that's a perfect point on it. Neil, thank you so much. Here's to another 25 years or another 100 years, and thanks for joining us today.
I really appreciate that, Chris. All the best, man.